The morning show studio had never felt this uncomfortable. Ripa was still smiling, but something behind the smile had shifted. It started the way these mornings always start, with bright lights, warm greetings, and the promise of easy conversation. But within minutes, what was meant to be a friendly interview would transform into something far more revealing. Meghan didn't feel at home. The Live with Kelly and Mark studio buzzed with its usual morning energy. The engaged audience, seated in neat rows, ready to be entertained. The bright, sun-drenched set designed to feel like a welcoming living room. The atmosphere of a show that had been America's morning companion for decades. A place where celebrities came to laugh, to share, to be human. Ripa had been doing this since 2001. Through countless co-hosts, through format changes, through the evolution of daytime television itself, she remained the constant. A woman who had turned morning television into an art form. Mark Consuelos had joined as permanent co-host in 2023, and together, they turned their real marriage into television magic. Their chemistry wasn't performed. It was lived. But on this particular morning, the magic would meet something it couldn't soften. Meghan arrived with an entourage that seemed excessive for a morning talk show. Publicist. Handler. Someone whose job appeared to be monitoring the energy. Watching for signs of trouble before they could surface. She walked onto the set with practiced grace, embraced both hosts with the careful warmth of someone who had been trained in the choreography of celebrity, and settled into the guest chair with deliberate attention to camera angles. The cameras went live. The audience applauded. Everything seemed normal. It wouldn't stay that way. So, Kelly began with characteristic warmth, leaning forward in her chair. You and Harry have been married for what, 8 years now? Mark and I have been married for almost 30. What's the secret? How do you keep it working? Meghan's smile was technically present, but something about it felt emotionally distant. A smile that had been practiced but not felt. We prioritize each other, she said. Prioritize how? Kelly pressed, genuinely curious. Because Mark and I fight about whose turn it is to take out the garbage. What do you fight about? A pause. Brief but notable. The kind of pause that, in television terms, is an eternity. We don't really fight, Meghan said. Kelly laughed. A warm, disbelieving laugh. You don't fight after 8 years with 2 kids? Mark, should I be concerned? Mark shook his head slowly, a knowing smile on his face. Every couple fights, even us, especially us. We have disagreements, Meghan clarified, her tone shifting slightly. But we resolve them quickly. Resolve them how? Kelly asked. Because my resolution usually involves Mark sleeping on the couch and then buying me something expensive. What's yours? We communicate. Communicate, Kelly repeated. That's very diplomatic. She paused, and something in her expression shifted. A flicker of something sharper beneath the warmth. In 23 years of doing this show, every couple that says they don't fight turns out to be either lying or in trouble. Which are you? The audience had gone quiet. The kind of quiet that happens when everyone in the room realizes something unexpected is happening. Let me try something different, Kelly said, attempting to reset the conversation. The kids, Archie and Lilibet, what are they into right now? Every mom I know can't stop talking about whatever obsession is driving them crazy this week. They have varied interests, Meghan replied. Varied interests, Kelly echoed. She turned to Mark. What are our kids into? Mark jumped in, grateful for the assist. Michael's still obsessed with that video game I can't pronounce. Lola won't stop talking about her podcast. Joaquin changes his thing every week. Right now, it's some obscure musician nobody's heard of. Kelly turned back to Meghan. See? Specifics. What's Archie's thing? He enjoys many activities. Many activities he's too private to name? Meghan's expression tightened. I protect certain details. Kelly leaned forward again, her voice still warm but carrying an edge now. You've shared your children in Netflix documentaries, in professional photo shoots, in anniversary videos. The privacy seems selective. What's his actual obsession? The silence stretched. The kind of silence that fills a room, that makes people shift in their seats. The silence tells me something, Kelly said softly. Either you don't know, or you're so controlled that even a simple mom question becomes strategic. Neither is great. The Met Gala, Kelly said, shifting terrain entirely. Fashion's biggest night. You haven't been invited ever. Not during suits. Not as a royal. Not now. What's the deal? Meghan stiffened visibly. Her posture changed. Shoulders drawing back, chin lifting. I had other commitments for 7 consecutive years on the same night. That's either remarkable scheduling or remarkable excuse-making, Kelly said. Mark tried to intervene. The Met Gala is tricky. Not everyone gets invited. Everyone in her position gets invited, Kelly countered. Her voice still even but her words landing like stones. Every A-list celebrity, every royal, every fashion figure. She's somehow never been on the list. That's not coincidence. That's intention. I have no interest in the Met Gala, Meghan said coolly. No interest in fashion's biggest platform? You who launched a lifestyle brand, who positions yourself as a style icon, who did that British Vogue cover. My priorities evolved. Evolved after 7 years of not being invited, Kelly said. That's rationalization, not evolution. When you can't get something, suddenly not wanting it is convenient. Meghan grabbed her water bottle. Her hand was trembling slightly, a micro-movement that the cameras would capture and the internet would dissect for days. The Geneva trip, Kelly continued, relentless now. Digital safety. Warning parents about the dangers of posting children online. Hours before that speech, you posted Lilibet on Instagram. Help me understand how those two things fit together. That situation was mischaracterized. How? Kelly asked. You posted your child, then you warned about posting children. I'm not mischaracterizing.
I'm describing chronology.
Mark tried again. Context can matter. What context? Kelly turned to him. What context makes do as I say, not as I do acceptable? I've been a public mom for decades. When I talk about parenting, I try to practice what I preach. Posting your kid hours before warning about posting kids is textbook hypocrisy. I was sharing a joyful moment, Meghan said defensively. A joyful moment you then told other parents not to share, Kelly said. Your joy is fine. Theirs is dangerous. That's not advocacy. That's exceptionalism. You're twisting everything. I'm applying your own words. If that feels like twisting, maybe examine the words. The foundation, Kelly said. Archwell. You've been running it for what, 5 years now? What's it actually accomplished? We've created meaningful partnerships across multiple sectors. Partnerships toward what outcome? Kelly asked. I've supported charities for years. I know what real impact looks like. When I look at Archwell, I see beautiful language, but no concrete results. Impact isn't always visible. Impact that isn't visible is indistinguishable from impact that doesn't exist. Name one thing that changed because Archwell exists. Cultural conversations have shifted. Conversations, Kelly repeated. Not policies, not programs, not lives. Conversations. I can have conversations in my kitchen. What's the actual difference your foundation has made? Meghan stood up partially. Her chair scraped against the studio floor. A sound that cut through the tension like a knife. This interview has become hostile. This interview has become specific, Kelly replied. Still seated, still calm. You're confusing the two. Mark stood up as well, trying to ease the tension with his body language, his presence. Maybe we should take a breath. No, Meghan said sharply. I came here expecting a friendly conversation. This has been interrogation. Kelly remained seated, completely calm. Interrogation would be accusations. What I've done is ask about your children, you couldn't tell me what they like. Ask about your foundation, you couldn't name any results. Ask about the Met Gala, you blamed your schedule. These are the softest possible questions. If they feel like interrogation, examine what you're protecting. I'm protecting my privacy. Privacy you violated repeatedly when it served your narrative, Kelly said. You published intimate details about your family. You released documentary footage of your home. You shared children's moments when they promoted your image. The privacy you're claiming doesn't exist. You just want to control which exposures count. Mark put a hand on Kelly's arm.
Kel.
I'm not done. Kelly stood now. The height difference was minimal, but the shift in energy was seismic. In 23 years of doing this show, I've had guests going through divorces, guests with dying family members, guests in the worst moments of their lives. They all managed to be human, to share something real, to answer simple questions with actual answers. You can't. And that tells me something. Meghan grabbed her purse. What does it tell you? It tells me there's nothing underneath the brand. When I ask about your kids, you give me categories. When I ask about your work, you give me generalities. When I ask about anything personal, you give me deflection. Every question hits a wall. Not a person. A wall. I am a person. A person who can't access a single specific moment with her children, Kelly said. A person who can't name a single accomplishment of her foundation. A person who can't acknowledge a single mistake or doubt or moment of genuine vulnerability. What kind of person is that? Mark stepped between them. This isn't the show. The show is honesty, Kelly said, moving past him. The show has always been honesty. Real conversations.
Actual moments.
When someone comes on my stage and gives me nothing, no real answers, no real moments, no real self, I'm going to notice. I've been doing this too long not to. Meghan moved toward the exit. You'll regret how you treated me. I'll regret asking about your children? Kelly called after her. I'll regret asking what your foundation does? Those are the questions I ask every guest. The treatment you're describing is simply someone who expected real answers instead of prepared statements. Meghan paused at the edge of the stage. Everyone attacks me. Kelly shook her head slowly. Everyone asks you questions. Questions you can't or won't answer. The attack you experience is simply accountability, the kind every public figure faces when they make public claims. You claim to be an advocate. What's your advocacy produced? You claim to be a devoted mother. What are your children actually like? You claim to want privacy. Why do you keep doing interviews? To share my perspective. Your perspective that consists entirely of grievance, Kelly said. I've watched your media appearances. Everything is about what was done to you, what you suffered, what you escaped. Never what you've built. Never what you've contributed. Never what you've given. I've given plenty. Name it right now, Kelly said. One thing you've given that exists independent of your celebrity. One contribution that would matter if nobody knew your name. Silence. That's the answer, Kelly said softly. When everything depends on celebrity, nothing depends on substance. And when substance is absent, grievance fills the space. Meghan left. The studio door closed behind her. Kelly and Mark stood in the sudden quiet. The audience was frozen. Not sure whether to applaud, to gasp, to simply sit in stunned silence. Well, Mark said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. That was something. Kelly took a long breath. I want to explain what just happened. She turned to face the camera, her expression shifting from confrontation to reflection. In 23 years of doing this show, I've asked thousands of guests about their lives, their families, their work. Almost all of them could answer, had real moments to share, had genuine humanity to offer. She paused. What I experienced just now was different. Every question about her children got deflection. Every question about her work got generalities. Every attempt at genuine connection got walls. And when I noticed the walls, when I pointed them out, she left. Mark nodded slowly. I tried to ease things. I know, Kelly said, and normally I'd follow your lead. But in 23 years, I've learned to recognize when someone's performing versus when someone's present. She wasn't present. She was managed, and managed doesn't work on this couch. She looked directly into the camera. Here's what I've learned doing this show. Real people love talking about their kids, the embarrassing stories, the annoying obsessions, the specific moments that make them them. She couldn't access any of that. That's not privacy. That's disconnection. She paused. Real advocates love talking about their impact, the person they helped, the policy they changed, the specific outcome they achieved. She couldn't name anything. That's not humility. That's absence. Mark added quietly, "We've had guests in terrible situations share more than she did." "Exactly," Kelly said. "Guests going through public divorces who could still laugh about their kids. Guests with dying parents who could still access joy. What we saw today wasn't someone protecting privacy. It was someone with nothing underneath to protect." She straightened her dress, smoothed her hair. "When we come back, we'll have someone who can actually have a conversation. Because that's what this show is, real conversations with real people." What just happened was neither. The footage aired that morning. ABC made no edits. The clips spread like wildfire. Across social media, across entertainment programs, across every platform where people gather to watch moments that feel too real for television. The confrontation was replayed, dissected, debated. Every couple that says they don't fight turns out to be either lying or in trouble. Privacy you violated repeatedly when it served your narrative. When I ask about your kids, you give me categories. Every question hits a wall. When everything depends on celebrity, nothing depends on substance. She wasn't present. She was managed. Meghan's team released a statement calling the appearance a departure from the show's traditionally welcoming format, designed to generate controversy rather than conversation. Kelly addressed it the following morning. "Welcoming?" she said, her voice carrying a note of genuine bewilderment. "We offered coffee. We asked about her kids. We asked about her marriage. We asked what her foundation does. Those are welcoming questions. They invite sharing." She shared nothing. She leaned forward. The controversy she's describing is simply someone who expected answers when questions were asked. Mark added, "We've done this show together for years. We've never seen anything like that, and we've had some difficult guests." Kelly nodded. Difficult usually means nervous or going through something. This was different. This was someone who'd forgotten how to be real, or never knew how in the first place. For Kelly Ripa, the interview became another demonstration of the instincts that had kept her on morning television for over 2 decades. The ability to recognize when someone was performing rather than present. The willingness to name it. The refusal to let the show become a platform for manufactured authenticity. For Meghan Markle, it was devastating in a particular way. This wasn't political commentary. This wasn't tabloid journalism. This was Live with Kelly and Mark, the friendliest show on daytime television. Being unable to connect with Kelly Ripa suggested something beyond media training could address. Something deeper, something structural. But for the millions who watched, something else emerged. The contrast between Kelly and Mark. Real married couple, real parents, real people sharing real moments, and Meghan's carefully constructed walls told its own story. Kelly had asked about her kids. Meghan offered categories. Kelly had asked about her marriage. Meghan offered diplomacy. Kelly had asked about impact. Meghan provided nothing. And in that nothing, in that complete absence of genuine humanity when humanity was invited, everything anyone needed to know about the gap between Meghan Markle's performance and Meghan Markle's reality became impossible to ignore. Some people light up when given space to be real. Others reveal they've forgotten how. Kelly offered the space. Meghan couldn't fill it. 23 years of morning television. The friendliest show in daytime. And she couldn't answer a single question with genuine humanity. What does that tell you about what's actually there? If you want more content that recognizes performance when it sees it, subscribe. Drop a like. Share this with someone who needs to see it. More honesty, more humanity, more of what daytime television is supposed to be.